If you dig just below the surface of the Star Wars movies and TV shows, you'll find a term called Canon and Legends thrown around between fans, and that's where things start to seem a little bit overwhelming, but hold tight, you're just getting to some of the best parts of Star Wars. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the differences between Canon and Legends and why you should check out both. Hello AAC Universe and welcome back to the Animated Apparel Company YouTube channel. I am your resident Star Wars expert Grand Admiral Joey, and today we're going to be covering a topic that can be confusing to the newest of Star Wars fans. Before Disney acquired Star Wars, there existed the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which was a collective term referring to all the media in the franchise that is not directly related to the live-action production. It included novels, comics, video games, and more, and although it was called a separate entity, it's important to know that the Star Wars Expanded Universe was originally all a part of Canon until April 25th, 2014, when it was rebranded and declared non-canon, but up to this point, it was all canon. Now, back in 2014, after Disney purchased Star Wars, the expanded universe was redefined as Star Wars Legends, and it's now the name that was given to the body of works that are set in the Star Wars universe, but not actually part of the official canon. The Star Wars canon was established as the true Star Wars story by Disney after they acquired the rights to the franchise. Canon included all movies, TV shows, books, comics, games, and other media created by Disney after the purchase of Lucasfilm. And although Disney has done a lot of expanding in the new canon, it left a lot of material and characters, books, video games, and more behind when it declared the Legend material as non-canon. So if the content is non-canon or not true to the Star Wars story, is Star Wars Legends material worth exploring? I say absolutely yes. In fact, some of my favorite Star Wars content comes from the Legends material. And although Disney declared it non-canon, I've always believed that some of the story should be left up to you, the fan, and what you consider canon for yourself, as some of the characters and stories will inevitably be left behind, or they might have been completely written off by Disney, but that doesn't mean that they have to be left behind by you. Plus, it's totally possible and has already happened that Disney might resurrect a character from Legends, potentially rewriting some of the things about the character, but you'll already have a scoop on what to expect from them. A very small and micro example of this is Delta Squad, your team that exists in Star Wars Republic Commando, a game that's now considered Star Wars Legend. The first-person shooter was action-packed, but also had a fantastic story and characters that made you really connect with the game. It's definitely one of my favorite games for the story alone, and thanks to a very short cameo scene in Star Wars The Clone Wars, the characters were brought from the Legends into the Star Wars canon. And that doesn't mean that their story is now canon, it just means that the characters themselves are part of canon. Also, if you caught the last episode of The Bad Batch, I am pretty certain that the yellow and gray commando towards the end of the episode is Clone Commander Scorch, the funny and comedic demolition expert of your team.
Moving to cover, awaiting orders.
Did I miss anything important?
No. Did you get the data?
Yeah, they searched me, but I hid the data pretty well.
Where exactly?
You don't want to know.
And a much bigger example of this resurrection from Legends to canon is my favorite character, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he's probably one of the boldest examples of resurrecting a Legends character into the Disney canon. That's right, I tried to slip Thrawn into as many of my videos as possible, so buckle up. Thrawn existed in a timeline that was after the fall of the Emperor and Return of the Jedi, and he was present in many of the Star Wars books of that time. However, when Disney took over Star Wars, he was written off as non-canon and seemingly left forever killed off based on the events of The Force Awakens, since that was where his timeline existed. But thanks to Dave Filoni, a Legends fan and director in Star Wars, he was brought back into canon with his role as the villain in Star Wars Rebels, essentially resurrecting him, and now there's plenty of content on him animated, but also in books, comics, and now live action roles that have been cast for him. So now that you know a little bit more about the difference between Legend and canons, hopefully this helped clear some confusion between the two. If you want to get started on a really good Legends trail, I highly recommend the Old Thrawn trilogy, starting with Heir to the Empire. You'll get to know the galaxy's feared Grand Admiral as he struggles to save the fallen Empire. If you want to do a little bit more cannonball diving into canon, the new Thrawn trilogy is also a great place to keep your Star Wars momentum going, and you'll get to see how Thrawn quickly rose in the Imperial ranks to become Grand Admiral, both Legends and Canon trilogies are separate in timeline, so collectively you should get a really good idea on the character of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Also, we're not sponsored by Audible, but I highly recommend going over there and listening to the audiobooks. Mark Thompson does a fantastic job on all of his voice actings, and I really love the character that he's given Thrawn. They're a little bit separate between the two trilogies, but man, he does some awesome work over there. There are probably thousands of books, comics, games, and more collectively, so it's gonna be a long time before you feel like you're out of Star Wars content. And that's all we have for this video. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if this video helped you out. Of course, if you want to help pay some of the bills, head over to animatedapparelcompany.com, use the offer code Joey to get 20% off everything in your cart, and it'll help support this show. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!